Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing 1853. In the last video quite a lot happened. Basically all the trains that could rust in the game did. So the beginning of the last video, I think more or less everything was still in the game, and then the 2 and the 3 trains rusted all in one cycle of operating rounds, and now only the permanent trains are remaining in the game. So what's interesting for this operating round, first there's a lot of money with the players. More than they can spend, I guess. Basically most players own about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, this guy is already at the certificate limit, for example. And he holds in hand something like 500 bucks. Honestly, I find that odd. Because I don't have the feeling that the game is already really at the end. Take a look here at the bank. We see there is a ton of money in here. These are all 500, so it's about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is at least 10,000 bucks in the bank, probably even more. So I don't have a feeling, as I said, that the game is here pretty close to the end. Still, players are at the point where it's really hard for them to buy additional shares. We might see some optimization of the portfolio, but there's also not that much out here, so we'll see what happens. So it's a little odd, but I don't know if that's just my weird playing or if it's the game itself. Another interesting aspect in this stock round will be the ECR. Now, the ECR is at the moment controlled by a manager. Basically player 3 down here. He holds 1 share. And he also controls the green, the BNR and the MSM. So the MSM is operating down here and the BNR is operating here, the green company. So in a way the ECR is right in between. So that would be cool for them to keep control. Interestingly, there are also about 500, well, maybe 520 bucks in here. And that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of capital. Still, problem is, if he buys another share, he would become the president. And at that point, we got that 5 train here, which is borrowed by the BNR. And that 5 train then must be either purchased immediately or it will be discarded and goes back into the bank pool where it can be purchased by another company. So that's a problem, because, well, obviously here's not enough money in there to buy that 5 train. About 300 bucks are missing. This guy has a lot of money. Oops. And he probably could afford it. The big question is, does he want to do that? Does he really want to buy this train basically for 300 bucks? I think this is a very important decision. There are many things here to consider. First of all, if he buys additional shares of that company, I mean, first of all, this guy is first in priority, right? There are 3 shares here in the bank pool of the ECR, and there are 5 more in the offer. The 3 shares in the bank pool only cost $30. None of the shares counts against the certificate limit at the moment because it is below the $40. So that alone is super tempting because he doesn't have to sell any shares, at least not at the moment. And they're cheap. However, if this guy starts buying 1 share for $30, which he will probably do, because there's not a lot to lose. It's $30, and even if it doesn't operate, okay, he would lose $20, but the chance alone that it might operate or bring some money is probably worth the investment here. So if he buys one, and he buys the other one, then he becomes the president. Let's say he then purchases the train for $300. Then it is very likely that everybody else says, ooh, cool, there's a good company that will make money, so we also buy shares of that company. How well will that company perform? Well, let's say we make a connection here, which shouldn't be too hard. We can basically make something like 50, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30. And then we can go up here, so it's something like 140, I don't know, 180, 200, 230, 40, 50, 60, something like 360. That's a really good run. 360 means also that it is basically 10 times the actual share value. So this thing will rise about 5 spaces after one single run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings it to 70, where it is still another 5 spaces, I think, something like that, maybe not quite. Let it be 4 spaces. So in the second run, it will go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it will probably rise another 3 spaces or so. So after 3 runs, the share value will rise from 30 to $100. That is impressive. And in addition, you get the revenue of all that stuff. Okay, fine. If the others buy shares, though, they got to buy from the initial offer. These shares cost $70. So it's not quite as great anymore. It's only about an additional $30 after 3 runs. But okay, let's say the guy operates the company, then it will obviously rise more and it will pay out a good revenue. So in general, I would clearly say these shares are worth buying. However, things are getting more tricky here now. If this guy, now let's say everybody simply buys all the shares they can get. That would mean he sits then on 30%, this guy on 20%, this guy on 20%, and that guy also on 30%. So he could then say, that's all not that great, you know. I have the same amount of shares as that guy and only 10% more than the others. So maybe I should actually use that. I should transfer the train down here. I hold 50% of that company, and I think the next guy holds 20. We have 1 share in here, so I'm doing really well here, and I might even get the opportunity to buy that last share or something. So I'm sitting down on 50% of the company, and the company is in a very similar position down here as the other one. So if I can make a connection here, I pretty much make the same amount of money, but I control significantly more shares than the other people. So I make more money than the others. Problem is, I would not gain that much share value. But, I mean, the thing is, the others would also gain that much share value. So if I take the ECR, it's not really my gain, you know. We just all make a lot of money. But if I transfer the train to these guys, I will be the winner here. So, yeah, all these things are facts that we have to take into consideration here. And, of course, the others can see that too. They can see, okay, he's got that company running, which isn't doing really well because it only has a 3M train, but it could use the 5 train with just a little bit of improvement here. So maybe we should be careful in investing in that stuff. Okay? So maybe then these guys don't buy the shares. But that, of course, would allow him then, again, to buy the shares of that company, and that gives him an even greater advantage because then he will get the shares which gain a lot in share value, and in addition to that, they do not count against the certificate limit. So it would basically hold simply more shares than the other people. That's pretty awesome. Another aspect for the other people is if they invest in these shares here for $70, it's a pretty big risk because, well, they realize, okay, he might sell the train down there, but it's not that the company just won't operate then. Right now, the shares are only worth $30. So they would, if the company continues then not to operate and drops, after 2 operating rounds, it's down at $10. So that means they would basically lose per share $60. That's not good. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell how much the people can calculate. You know, what they can see. At first glance, if this guy buys a train for this company, this looks like a promising company. So I think I will roll some dice here. Maybe even if he will buy the train or not. But on the other hand, if he won't, there's a good chance that somebody else buys away the presidency away from him. And then someone else will also get control over the capital here, $500. And because the shares are cheap and do not count against the certificate limit, there's not a lot of I mean, yeah, it's not such a big investment. You basically simply buy, I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. I mean, they're $500, but yeah, as I said, it's not a big deal to buy, let's say, 2 shares if he doesn't want to invest anymore and he says, I don't want the presidency and I don't want to buy a train. I mean, he could also buy the presidency and simply do not buy a train. But then, yeah, I mean, he could sell around a few things. Problem if he doesn't buy the train, goes back in here, and then, for example, the EIR might get the option to get a train Let's see how much money is in there. Yeah, it's also pretty much 520. Well, if they make another run, and then the mail run will give them something like, I don't know, 170 or so, then it's not a lot of money for him, just about, I don't know, $100 or whatever. So that would give the EIR a really cheap train. And I think that's something I want to avoid. So this is clearly one of the big decisions here in the game. I think what I'm going to do now with this guy is, he says, okay, you know what? I will buy one of the shares for $30. It's super cheap and it cannot hurt me. And I just wait and see what happens. And it doesn't count against the certificate limit. So it's basically just, even if this thing drops, I basically risk only $20. And maybe I can make a lot of money out of these shares. And as long as they cost only $30, it's fine. This is another issue here. If these shares cost $70, it's a little questionable to take that risk. But for now, I think I'm fine. Now, this guy also says, hey, does he? Yeah, that's the thing. Is he willing? I mean, what else can I do with the money? That's another question. You know, there is not much out there. Okay, I'm at 14 shares or certificates, so I could buy 2 more. Well, I could obviously buy that one. These suck. I don't want to buy them. So basically there is only this one out here and these 2. That one would be an option because I already control 50% of the company, so I could buy that. But yeah, then there is the risk that this guy takes away the presidency and controls the money. So I think I don't want to allow that to happen. And so yeah, I think I'm definitely going to buy another share. And now I can still consider for $30. That makes me the president. And now I have still the option to say, hey, I could now buy the train or not, right? I could pay these $300 or not. So it's quite a lot of money, but I'm pretty sure I want to do it. So I guess on a 1 to 5, I'm going to do that. And yes, I will. So let's see how much money is in there. This is 830. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. It's exactly 530. So we got to pay $300. That's a lot of money. It really is a lot of money. But it gives me control over a 5 train. And yes, I can now decide if I want to sell this train, for example, to the MSM, or if I even want to jiggle around and buy a train with the MSM from the BNR, and then I could buy a train from here. I think this game goes on for quite a while. So owning a 5 train, even if I have to pay $300 for that, I think that's a good deal. Okay, now things are getting interesting. Well, they already are, aren't they? What does this guy say? Well, is he willing to invest now in shares of the ECR because he can see this company might make a lot of money? Well, I mean, you can also clearly see that there is a good chance that he transfers the stuff over here and doesn't operate the company. But then again, for now, the shares only cost him $30. So there's not that much to lose. Therefore, I would say on a 1 to 5, I will do so. And he does. So he buys this $30 share. And then it's the guy over here, the guy here on the top. He's pretty much in the same position. There's one more share left here for a cheap price. On a 1 to 5 he will buy that. And he does. Wait a second. How much did I spend? 50? So I should get back 20. So now things are getting more interesting because now the shares cost $70. And now it's the big question, is this guy still willing to invest? Because now, yeah, now it's tricky. It really is. The thing is, you know, you could say, will you run the train? Will you do it? And he might even say, you know what, if you guys buy now all the shares from here, I will not run the train. I will transfer the train here because I'm not interested in you buying the shares. So I might actually, you know, if he's asked, yeah, are you going to abuse the company or not? He might be totally honest and say, yeah, I will do it. I don't want you to buy shares. So therefore, if you buy shares of the company, I will steal the train from the company and you will lose money. So what can we do? It's probably a stupid idea to buy more shares because, yeah, I guess it makes not a lot of sense. So on a 1, I will just hope that the company will make money and buy more shares, but I probably will not take that risk. No, I pass. No, actually I might not pass. I will probably sell this guy because it's a horrible share. I'm going to sell that for 75. And instead, I'm going to invest in this guy. The MSM. It's already worth 88 and I only have to pay 80. So that's definitely a good deal, I guess. Yeah, now he actually will have probably the option to get an additional share of this company. Now let me do some counting. How many shares are now left there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if he starts now buying, that's kind of a signal to the other players, okay, he might actually seriously want to run the company here. So how many shares will he get? There are 5 out there, so that means he can basically get 2 additional shares. Which means in the end, he ends up with 40%, while all the others end up with 20. That is clearly better than the 30-30, 20-20 configuration that we had before. Simply because this guy had to be careful. I mean, this share, the second share he bought, was only worth $30. So that was not exactly a signal, hey, I'm going to run the company in a healthy way. But if he buys now a share for $70, then that's another thing, right? And then basically the others might jump on the train too. So then, at the moment it's him, and what he does is he basically sells all these shares down to 1 so that he can keep the manager of this company. So he sold, I think, 4 shares. So 4 times 75. Well, that is 8, I think 300, right? There's nothing he can do with his money right now. That's the problem. There are no more shares out there except of these bad shares here. But if he would not have sold them, there was 1 share in the bank pool. And therefore, every time he would not have paid out, the share value would have dropped. So he basically simply would have lost a lot of money. On the other side, the other option would have been to buy the share from the bank pool. But that probably would have also not terribly helpful. First of all, someone else could have simply purchased the share from here and then sell it back in the bank pool. This guy is also sitting on 2 shares. I'm pretty sure he's also going to sell them. And so therefore, it would not have been possible for him to buy all the shares out of the bank pool because of the share limit of 60%. In addition, he doesn't really want to be the president. He only wants to be the manager because then the company will be able to borrow a train. Fine. So the interesting thing is that he still has priority because he just sold the shares. He didn't buy anything. As I said, there's nothing out there, which is also a problem for him. He only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 certificates. While other people are sitting on much more. This guy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This guy has 18 certificates, for example. He also looks like he has a ton of certificates. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, he also has 18, which is just fine because, as I said, these 2 do not count against the limit. Now he's going to sell 2, also of this company. And that gives him 100 and... No, what is it? Yeah, it's 150. Yeah, as I said, it feels a little weird. Stock round is over. I don't have the feeling we are already at the end of the game. And many players still have a lot of money in their hands. Yeah, so I have no idea. It feels odd. But okay. So, because this guy sold, also priority doesn't change. Therefore, it's still here. Is anyone willing to bid for priority? I mean, there are these shares out there. They might get interesting, maybe, after 3 more operating rounds. They will be fairly cheap. Sitting here, 57. If they drop 3 times, the company might be able to make some money. Sitting down here, hard to tell. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't think so. Basically, everyone is already at a certificate limit. And if this company operates, we're going to have to sell anyway. I don't have a feeling that this company will be, after 3 operating rounds, stronger than any of the others, so that a massive run on these shares will happening. I mean, you never know, but I don't think anybody is willing to pay a lot of money here for the elephant. So I guess we go into the first operating round. So, first operating round, the EIR starts, and they have quite a bit of money here. They would love to get themselves a second train. Problem is, this is only about 530. This is not going to be enough to get the 6th train, that's for sure. Even with the pretty good mail run they're going to make, it's going to be 170. they're going to not be able to buy that train. And he also doesn't want that much, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to throw that much money in. They could afford the 4M train though, which could be an interesting alternative. If they, for example, place a dot here, and it's the red company, by the way. If they place a dot here, they could start laying track like this, and then, I don't know, go here, that way, or maybe this way, and then go here to Delhi. And they can also, there's also a double connection here, so that would be 40, 80, and then they can go like this, or they might consider even upgrading this here into a double gauge track. So there are definitely options, and they could make a pretty good run with the 4M train. However, it's an interesting situation here. The BBCI has a 5 train, and they start to realize maybe it's going to be hard to run that train. They have the money, they had the money for a 5 train, but they don't have a route at the moment. Now, the interesting thing is both first player and the second player hold both 40% of the EIR. So, first player says, hey, what do you think? I can pay you 500 and something, and let's say, well, and another 70 or so for the mail run, the money for the mail run. I want to place a dot here, that's kind of important to me. So, but anyway, I can pay you about 650 or so if you sell me the 5 train. The 5 train is worth 830, but still, and that would be enough for him to buy himself the 4M. And, you know, I mean, that is tempting in a way. He could do that. Because the advantage of the EIR running 2 trains, 2 big trains, is also his advantage. So it's an interesting decision. He holds 40% of the BBCI. He holds 40% of the EIR. Of course, he gives away control over the 5 train. But then again, this guy only holds a single company. There are no more companies out there except of this crappy one, which cannot use the 5 train at all. So therefore, it seems like there is no real danger that this guy will start, I don't know, using the 5 train for something else. So it might be a hard decision in a way, but you know, you don't give away control over a permanent train lightly, and usually I don't see that happening in other games. But in this case, it really seems to make sense. Before the 5 train is just sitting here, I mean, at some point, there might be a possible connection over here, and then it's worth quite a bit. There is no doubt. But how long will that take, right? That's the question. And we might see some negotiations with other players. So for example, if someone is willing to go up here to Delhi, maybe then he can make a connection within 2 turns. But these 2 turns, the 5 train simply does nothing. I mean, it is really more than questionable if the 5 train will do him a lot of good. Because, you know, if he goes, I mean, even if he makes a connection here, he will be blocked here, he will be blocked here, he probably will be blocked down there too. So in the end, might not be that great. So I got a feeling, yeah, I think I'm going to go with this deal. I will roll a 1 to 5, and on a 1 to 5, I'm going to sell him the 5 train. And I'm not. Look at that. That's a 6. Saying, no, you know, I spent a lot of money for that 5 train. I don't want to give it away. Okay, fine. So that means he's going to buy himself the M train. Going to make a weight up here, like this, probably. And the other guy is going to try to somehow make money with the 5 train. But I think that might actually be a mistake. You know, the more I think about it, the less I think it makes sense to run, to keep that 5 train. You can simply go down here, you know. You can really make some money with the 4M train instead. So, there are still 2 trains in there. Yeah, I think... Oops. I really think I prefer the decision with the 5 train. It's everything else makes so little sense here. So I'm gonna let him reconsider here. Give him another shot. Okay, on a 1 to 4 he will do it. Otherwise he makes that mistake. That's a 5 again, man. Okay. So we'll go for it. That means that at that point this player will start a narrow gauge route. Yeah, which way? Probably this way, I guess. 1, 2, 3. I mean, yeah, it makes more sense that way, I think. So we do it like this. That costs him then 40 bucks. Okay. Well, actually, he laid 2 tiles, and you can see here these double dots with a narrow gauge. They come on a single track, which is pretty awesome. I didn't really know that. I didn't realize that until now. So narrow gauge is really cool if you have these double dots. And okay, that did cost him 50 bucks though. Laying double cost this company a lot. And now they're gonna make a run here. 70, 80, 90. Whoops. Gosh, the tiles are so thin. It is really 70, 80, 90, 120, 130, 170, 80, 90, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 340 bucks. That's a solid run, and another 170 for the mail run. So this guy will pay 70 bucks from his own pocket, and that allows him then to buy the 4M train. The orange is also kind of in a stupid position. They have now here the narrow gauge. They're sitting on 4 trains, on 2 4 trains. So, but anyway, I mean, it's not that bad. They have definitely a good perspective here. So the idea is pretty much to upgrade this guy. I hope I can do it. Yeah, I can, I guess. Yep, I can do that. The 4 trains don't allow me to upgrade outside of my territory here. But I can upgrade this one. No, actually I want to upgrade that one, yeah. So that I can go this way maybe. And then I can make one run with a 4 train like this from Delhi using all these little dots. Pass through here and go here. And then maybe to this city. That's a good run. And I could use the other run from Delhi like this. Through here if I can upgrade this. Go through here. And then maybe end up here or something. That sounds like an interesting option. I mean, it would be even cooler to go down here though. But then I cannot go to Delhi. Yeah, I think Delhi is more valuable. Sadly, I cannot upgrade this. I think there is no way to upgrade this into... no, that's a long-term project. I cannot get to Delhi and then directly here. So basically from Delhi to here is at least 5 cities. I think there is no reasonable way around that. Yeah. Okay, so I wanna upgrade this one then. That is such a painful process, you know. First you have to go into double gauge like this, and then you have to lay another upgrade to do the curve. It really sucks, man. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not that great either. Yeah. I mean, I might actually go better if I upgrade this guy, and then in the next turn I could already go to Kanpur, and then I have this run. Maybe that makes more sense. Well, actually it seems like I have to go this way, because otherwise I cannot use that train and this route and then go again like this to Delhi. I would have to use this part twice, which is not possible. So I think I'm gonna go the long way. It will take me a few turns, which kind of sucks, but I don't know, maybe someone else is willing to help me here. That's interesting. I would have loved to place a dot here in this city here. That's a very important location there. It would connect me from here to Madras, and it was also give me the connection here to Bombay. But sadly, because I only have a 4 train, I'm not allowed to do it. It's out of my area. With a 5 train I could do it if I would run there in the next turn, but with my 4 train I can't. So I'm not allowed to place a dot there, which is really painful. Okay, now the NWR, they realize they cannot upgrade this tile into connection. The ones that would be necessary are already down there, and there are none left. So basically they can upgrade this now to a town, and that's what they want to do, because they want to run the 4 train from Delhi to down here. That would be 1, 2, then down here 3, and then 4. So the interesting thing is that you cannot use every city tile. For example, you cannot use this one, but you can, for example, use that one. So I guess I will do that. I'm gonna use the tile number 14. Yeah, that is a legal upgrade. So let's see, we're gonna take this. Oh gosh. Okay. And just do it like this, basically. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if I should do it somewhere else. I could hurt maybe people if I place it here, right? But then again, I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. But it doesn't help me because I have to go through here somehow. Yeah. No, it doesn't work. I gotta place that one here, but that's okay. So the BNR is a little bit in trouble with a 4M, they got a 3M train that they have to run, and they're kind of stuck here because Red placed a dot there. That pissed everyone off quite a bit. So they upgraded this thing now and placed a marker there too. So now they can at least go, I don't know, from here to here, basic. No, fuck, they cannot even do that. Awesome. Well, I mean, okay, for now they can basically just run this, but then maybe in the next turn they can upgrade this tile, and then they might be able to make a connection to Delhi, so they have then their 3 cities. Yeah, okay. So that means also that the green guy has to use... No, actually they're good. There's a connection here. No, that's all fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, the BBC iPlayer is now really, man, I should have done that. I should have made that deal, you know. We could have run 2 trains, could have made a ton of money, and now I'm sitting on the 5 train, and I can only run it for 30 bucks. Yeah, great. So, but hey, he thought a lot, and he was kind of, nah, I'm not going to sell that train. I paid a lot of money for that. Yeah, great. So overall, he makes, I think, 180 bucks with that run. The MSM, well, the MSM has to do an upgrade here. Just like this, into this, simply because they want to open up track for example, for the blue company, which is also the ECR, which is also under their control, and maybe also for the BNR, so that they can go down here into Madras, but we cannot do that as long as there is this narrow gauge track sitting here, and the other people cannot upgrade it coming from the other side. That's really weird. But okay, one more turn and then we can do it at least. The blue company will actually be able to upgrade this, I think. Yeah, they can take one of these, and then they can run down here and probably will make a really good run then. So the SIR has a manager. They're going to borrow a train, obviously, because they're sitting down here. They're going to go with a 4M train, the last one actually. So nobody's able to buy another narrow gauge train now. And yeah, they're going to do a run here. I mean, they actually, before they do that, no, actually, no, that's not true. They're going to borrow the train at the very end of the turn, of course. So they have the option, and they still got 40 bucks in, 50 bucks in here. So they got the option to, I mean, they might even consider placing a token in there. I think that could be an interesting choice. Okay, let's see. I mean, do they want to? That's the thing. Okay, you know what? I'm not sure what to do here. The point is, I could, for example, place a tile here. If I want to place a token here, which is what I'm seriously thinking about, I'm pretty sure I can do it. It only costs me 40 bucks. And the manager has not yet borrowed a train, so I can't actually spend money, right? That's allowed to do it. I'm allowed to do it. But if I spend, if I place track here, I'm basically helping the MSM. And do I really want to do that? I only hold 10% of the company. On the other hand, I'm still pretty far away from my share limit. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I could buy myself 3 more shares. The others can't. So there's a good chance they are basically selling only crap. Most of them are above their share limit because they hold shares of the ECR, which will go up, and then they have to sell shares, which will probably not be the best. So maybe these shares will become valuable at some point, especially if they're going down now in value because the manager will not pay out. They might be cheap, $50 or something, and then they might be not such a bad investment. It's a tough call, but I mean, what else is out there? It's probably this company here, the BBCI, which really sucks. I'm pretty sure in the next stock round, when people have to sell shares, they're going to drop the BBCI shares. This is clearly the worst company, and probably for quite a while. They don't have a big future here. They make a run of 18 now, 20, 30, 80, 100. Well, if I'm working together, I mean, if the MSM manages to cut in here and then go to Bombay, we might be able to make more money that way. So yeah, you know, I think I'm going to help the MSM work together with them and try to get. I'm going to place a token here. Well, can I actually do that? Yeah, it's just possible. I can place a token in Madras. But before I do that, I technically have to place a tile here. Okay, cool. And now the manager will borrow a train, and I couldn't pay out because, well, there was not even a train run, so this thing goes down one space now, because there are a lot of shares here in the bank pool, of course. So finally the ECR, they are now back in the game after many rounds led by a manager, and they can now upgrade this thing, and finally we have now a connection between north and south. It really took us a while, but there it is. And they have a 5 train. So they can make a pretty good run. They don't have the money to place a token. It would be interesting to place a token in Madras, I guess. But they don't have the money to do that now. Anyway, let's see what they can do. I mean, that's the problem. They are kind of stuck here. It would have been awesome if that would have remained free. It could have gone like this. But maybe there's a chance somehow to cut around here, although I don't really think so. But maybe there might be a chance to go to Delhi anyway if I make it like this or something. We'll see. First, it seems to me that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that seems to be the best. If I start down here, 20, 30, 80, 90, 130, 140, 50, 180, 190, 200, 240. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's a solid run. It's not super great, but it is a solid run. I mean, it's not that great. But okay, I mean, for a minor company, it is pretty good. Especially because 230 is more than 5 times 30. So that means we will see a massive jump here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes up in one operating round, 5 spaces. That's the maximum it can do, and that is just super impressive. So the EIR had the best run until now. they managed to hook up Delhi here, so they could run their 4M train from Delhi down here to this city, and that is just 3 trains, so there is even room for improvement here, probably then simply into this city if they upgrade that. And yeah, the other train went then the standard route north here from Delhi, something like this pretty much, and then down here to Calcutta. So that was a 510 run. That is really impressive for now. And they paid out, and they actually paid out, it's not, no, actually it's a 540 run. Yeah, that was 540. That's going to be enough to move 2 spaces ahead. That's really crazy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more spaces. We'll see if they come there first or not. It would be obviously very valuable because the game will end immediately if they reach 400, which means that they would actually get simply an additional operating round. And yeah, with the money that comes from these, this is really pretty awesome. So we'll see if they can do it. Okay, here's the problem. I cheated, I think, because I thought they can go like this and then down here, but I think that's not possible on a space like this. You can either go in this direction or in this direction. So yeah, that's not really your standard intersection, so that sucks. Basically because now this city here has shown up. That wasn't there before. So now they cannot go like this anymore because they only have a 4 train. That means 1, 2, yeah, 3, 4. That brings them only here, which sucks. Still, I think it's more valuable to make the connection to Calcutta down here, and then maybe they can somehow, not to Calcutta, to Delhi here, and then maybe in the next turn they can somehow try to circumvent this city here, go somewhere like this or something. I'm not sure for now, but this is probably, it will take me 1 or 2 turns to get there. So I guess, I'm pretty sure I will not do this massive run. So yeah, I basically have to subtract a lot of money actually. That would be, okay, that's 90. I get the 30 bucks here instead. So that means I gotta subtract 60 bucks from that run. So that brings me down to 480, which is still really good. And it is not enough to boost me 2 spaces. That's obviously really a shame. Yeah, that city here really fucked me up. So Orange, the GIP, he's not seeing problems coming up. This up here, you know, if someone dots this, then that sucks for a lot of people. This guy didn't have the money in the last turn because he purchased that 4M train before, but now he does. I wonder if he is allowed to place a dot there, but it's kind of interesting. That is really hard to see. I think he actually, yes, yeah, he can. He can. He just can't place a dot there. Okay, that's a problem. So, can he place a dot there? No, he can't. He only has a 4 train. That means he cannot go beyond his area. Okay, so there's a good chance that his great, cool, fun connection, which goes like this, will be dotted out. A lot of people made a lot of profit from it, but because of this city here, it kind of sucks now. And in a way, it's his own fault because his other company placed a city there to run the 4 train completely, and now this company might end up with a lot of trouble because of that. But it is really hard to foresee these kind of things. I mean, he could have done it, right? Anyway, what I want to do is I got to somehow at least keep access to Delhi. So I guess I will place a city tile. Yeah, that guy. I will place that here, I think. Fuck, but then I don't have the money to place a token here, which I really wanted to do. Oh boy. I mean, okay, I can place a token there, and then maybe place a city in the next turn. Yeah, that is probably the best option I have, because I cannot afford to pay the terrain cost here at the moment. So I think the token here is more important. Otherwise red could cut me off here. They still have a token, and I don't know. This is really... well, they are. What if they want to play? Who knows, man? It's really hard to tell. I think they might be more interested in placing a token up here. But better be safe, you know. I'm already quite isolated in there, so yeah, I think it makes sense to do that. So I'm gonna pay $100. Do I want to lay track somewhere? Maybe I should do it. Laying track is pretty valuable in this game, I think. Maybe I can make my way down here to Calcutta somehow. Maybe if I upgrade this into here, that could be a cool idea. I think I might want to upgrade this thing. And I'm just not sure if I take this guy here. I don't know. Something like this. That's not a great idea. But maybe that one. That looks like an interesting option. So my idea is basically... If I would go... I want to go... At some point, I would love to go with a 4 train, for example, down here, which makes me a lot of money. But I also want to go to Calcutta and Delhi. So maybe if I place a tile here, which brings me to here, right? Because I cannot use this tile twice. And there is no way which goes down here. So if I can run around the city, that might be an option. Yeah, so I think I want to upgrade this guy. And do something like this. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting idea. And then I might have the chance to place a token here and then go like this. I mean, that will take a while. I don't know. But everybody is kind of working in this area for the moment. So maybe some other people are also interested in doing this. Okay, cool. Okay, so the BNR will upgrade this. Yeah, that works. I'm gonna exchange that one here. Oh shit! I hope I can. That's an 82. I want to exchange that into the 106. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I can. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm going to place it like this. And that's kind of interesting because now there are a lot of options for the green player, for the, what is it, the BNR, also for the GIP, because now they can go like this, you know, even if they get dotted out here from Delhi, They could now place a city here, and then they still have the option to do a Delhi-Calcutta run. At least Green has that option. And they might even, and I think they can do that now, with their 5 train, they can go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's awesome. They can start now here in Delhi, go up here 2, 3, then go down here 4, and end up here in Madras. I think this is a massive run. I guess that I'm not even sure if it's that much better than the Calcutta run, because I also have a few good cities here, but I'm going to calculate that obviously. Okay, although it looks much more impressive to go down here, actually that Delhi-Calcutta run going that way and then through like this is even more valuable. The run alone is, I think, 360 if I didn't miscalculate, and then I can add an additional 190, which means we're talking 460, 550. Wow, that is clearly the best run that we had until now for the BNR. The BBCI, I mean, I think they want to upgrade basically this tile here. The idea is if they make that a double gauge and then place a token there, but not like this. Maybe something like this. Yeah, probably. You know what, I think I'm going to go with that one. It doesn't hurt at all. So, yeah, let's do it like this. And then I place a token there for 40 bucks. So I might be able to change gauge now from here, and maybe I can cut somehow in here. I think there's a good chance I will be able to do that. I might even consider starting a city here, then I can cut in here, I think, and maybe I then can run twice from Delhi, you know, something like this, or I might be able to make a run like that. We'll see, but at least I might have a chance to run the 5 train then in a kind of reasonable way, right? Might be able to make a run like this, for example, or something. I mean, that looks a little more promising. So the ECR did another really well run of 270, which means this goes up 3 spaces. Sadly not 4, but it's still good. Now, the thing is what I'm planning, I upgraded that one to brown, which allows me then to upgrade it into one of these gray 50 tiles, which is pretty awesome. And now I'm actually planning with the ECR to lay a tile here. I couldn't do that because I didn't have the money to go through the hills. And then march here with a connection to Delhi. That will take me 3 turns. Maybe this guy helps me and says, okay, that sounds like a good idea. I'm also gonna here, and then we could do it in 2. And I think he might be interested in doing it because it will help him quite a lot. But I'm not sure about that. Now, okay, so that's basically it. I think at that point I'm going to load this up. I'm not going to go through the next operating round. I think it's a pretty close race. Interestingly, this guy seems to have nearly the most money Well, no, maybe not. But it's very close. It's not like, okay, he's totally gone because he holds these two fairly crappy companies. No, he's actually doing fairly good. And the ones that hold the most value, I mean, also here, right, this is really close. So it's not that clear at that point. I mean, he is doing really well. He has about 1,500 and something, and he has a very good portfolio, I think. This guy, who is making the best runs at the moment, he's also doing well, but not quite as good as the others, because he invested, I think, in the train. So yeah, it's a tough call. It really is. I'm not sure who is doing best. He doesn't have quite that many great shares, though. The MSM is not doing that great. The ECR is catching up, there is no doubt, but it's still far from the high value, and it won't get there. So he's just holding 40% of the BNR, which is doing really well. The GIP, I mean, okay, he's also holding 20% of the EIR, which is good. But yeah, I still get a feeling that in the end, these two guys who invested in the EIR are possibly in the lead right now. But yeah, as I said, I think it's going to be really interesting. Okay, so hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com.